Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jaylee. This is JayLee's Corner, and this is a deep dive into a serious situation that is happening, that happened here in Detroit. I told y'all I wanted to start covering real stories of real people in real time. Okay, this is deep dives into things I think we should talk about. And we don't talk enough about homelessness, families who are homeless, and then kids who get swept up in just that unnecessary line of not being protected in a way. And so I felt like this is a conversation to have. Okay, so thank y'all for being here, either on the live or watching the replay. Now, y'all know I was already live today. We had a whole gospel chat earlier, and there's also other content up from before, okay? And then I will be live tomorrow for Love and Marriage Huntsville, part 3 of the reunion. That's tomorrow, scheduled at 4 p.m., okay? But today, we're going to get into who is to blame for this completely tragic story that happened here in Detroit on Monday. The mom, the dad, or even is it the city of Detroit? Okay. Now look, y'all know already to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel and all those things. Okay. I am here. Hey. Okay. Now look, I have to put on my serious hats. Okay. Now when I get to cussing out the daddy, that's when we can get a little bit like jokey because I'm gonna read him for filth, okay? But this is a serious topic. We are discussing, 2 kids who lost their lives, but I feel like to ignore what happened, and I'm here, is insane, okay? And I'm like, we don't discuss it enough, so that's why we're here today, to chit chat about it, okay? So that's the mama, right? Yeah, we're gonna get right into it. This is the mama, Tiana Williams. Well, no, Tatiana Williams, okay? This is the daddy, okay, Darnell Curry Sr. And y'all know we have been talking all the time. It's the wintertime here in Michigan, in Detroit, and it is cold outside. I swear, just a couple weeks ago, I was saying, I think to my mom or to some, I mean, I was talking to, but I was like, there are so many empty buildings all around Detroit and the surrounding cities. We are for sure putting money into downtown Detroit, rebuilding downtown Detroit. They try to show off the city and how much is going on in downtown Detroit, when in reality, there are many untapped areas in Detroit that can absolutely be rehabbed, revitalized into homeless shelters, warming centers, stay cool centers in the summertime. Because again, in the summer it's hot, in the winter it is freezing. I know for a fact that when I start my car up, I have automatic start my car up. It's warm in my car, but the moment you cut your car off and you wait about 2 minutes, 3 minutes in the wintertime, it gets cold, okay? But I don't want anyone who is not from here, who ain't never been here, who don't know how our winters are. I want you to understand, it is extreme. If y'all hear any noise, they're plowing our parking lot, and I got the window open over there. But again, it gets extremely cold here in the winter, and I always feel like, how does anyone who is homeless even survive when it's cold? I can't imagine. Like, I don't sit in my car without my car on in the winter. You just don't. No one is just outside hanging out in the winter. Even the fact that the damn daddy was outside talking to the reporter after the child, is he homeless too? Because why are you coming to somebody's house? But that is someone's last resort. Now, if you have a car and your car is running, the heat is running, you could absolutely sleep in your car because the car is warm. The heat be black. Because if I'm driving to work, I'm hot in my car because the heat is on. The car is warm. So I don't want anyone to feel like that there are not people in this world who don't sleep in their cars. But usually their car is running. There is some kind of heat system or whatever. No one is in their car without it running. Okay. So Monday, news broke that two children, okay, it was a 9-year-old little boy, a 2-year-old little girl, had passed away in a car in the parking garage of one of our casinos here. Okay. Now, at first, when you hear in a casino parking lot, you like, what was the parent in the gambling? Like, I feel like from the beginning, the way the story kind of unfolded was judgment. Now again, Tatiana is 29 years old. She had 4 children, a 9-year-old son, the 2-year-old daughter who passed away. There was also, I believe, a 4-year-old child and a 7-year-old child who was still alive. But again, she's a 29-year-old mother of 4, homeless, had been homeless, living in a car since November. But before November, she was homeless and was like renting hotels, living with people or whatever. So she has been struggling for a while. And I don't want anyone to feel like that. Here in Detroit, when this story came out, a lot of people on social media here, like people like here in Detroit, was fussing in the comments. Post, argument, pissed. Because some folks was like, well, no, she failed them kids. Why? I'm like, don't nobody know what her struggle was. We can't act like people who don't have no job, they have more children, and things just get out of hand. We know the cost of living is high. We know my rent going up $50. Nothing. I'm saying I can afford it, but still, if you can't afford your current rent, if your rent keep going up, but your pay rate ain't going up, you can become homeless. Most folk live check to check. If you lose one check, maybe 2, you could also be homeless. Okay, so there was a lot of back and forth debates here in Detroit over whose fault is it? Who's to blame? Initially, a lot of people, all the people was blaming the mama, because mainly the mama is who had the kids. She was with the kids. No one asked about the daddy, which made me mad because she didn't make it on her own. Okay. We did not know if she had one baby daddy, two, three, or four baby daddies, nothing. Okay. The first story, let me pull up. We're going to get into each interview. And the first news story to me was a little bit, it started some of the judgment. It started some of the miscommunication or just misinformation being out. Okay.
Hard to even comprehend. 2 children are dead tonight, found frozen to death inside a family van.
It appears a large family was living in the vehicle when it was discovered inside the Hollywood Casino parking garage at Greektown today.
Now, again, downtown Detroit has a lot of different parking garages. Some are just like parking lots. Some are enclosed. Some have spaces in between them. But there are many parking lots. But however, what I will say is, here in Michigan, in Detroit, because we do have people who live in cars, they live in RVs, they live in their cars, whatever. You can't leave your car or be parked overnight anywhere. They'll come tow your car. They will sometimes, come knock on the window, whatever. So some people have to find places to park if they live in their car. So the mama and the family choosing to go late at night to a parking garage, it makes sense because everybody in the parking garage, they be at the casino all night. So it made sense in her head to go park in a park because it's safer than on the street. It's enclosed. There's not much foot traffic. You're not technically outside on the streets in the elements. You're in a parking garage. So again, they weren't in a parking lot. It was a parking garage downtown in a casino.
Fox 2's Jessica Dupnack has been following this story since she broke it, actually. And it is so sad that this happened to this family. What's the status now? What's going on with the mother?
Now, again, this story is how we all found out about it. This is what they put out on Monday evening.
Well, mom is being detained. Police will not say that she's arrested, but detained at this point. I want to paint a little picture of what these children have been enduring. When police went up to the van earlier today to seize evidence, they found just a couple of blankets inside and the 2 children that were frozen to death. The 2-year-old wearing a T-shirt and a pull-up, and the 9-year-old wearing a T-shirt and joggers. Police say this is now a full-blown criminal investigation.
Now, again, we're going to get into the mama's full interview, the daddy's full interview, the police chief's full explanation of what happened, and also Mayor Mike Duggan, who spoke about it, and also the deputy. Because I'd like to get all of the information to give a well-rounded, think what happened. I felt like even the news lady saying, oh, well, the police found the kids this way, blah, blah, blah. That's not true. Because the kids were taken to the hospital. So when they got the little girl and the boy to the hospital, their clothes were different. I don't think that's how they slept overnight. I think once they got the baby to the hospital, the clothing was different. Because again, it was the mama who's 29 and her 4 children. Her mother, who was 49 and one child. And then one other, I think that maybe 17-year-old was in the car too. They were wearing clothes to sleep in undercover in a car where the heat was running. So I don't want, and that's what I'm saying. The first news story that came out to me was a bit misleading because the police did not find either child in the van dressed in a diaper and a shirt. They did not find the son in the van with some jogging pants and a shirt. Both children were taken to the hospital. So you don't know what they had on in the car overnight. So we don't know that part. But again, this was the initial story that came out.
This was unnecessary. It didn't have to happen this way.
Investigators shaken at this unimaginable tragedy. One phone call could have prevented it all.
The female says child not breathing. They are car at Greektown Casino parking structure.
Around 1 a.m. Monday morning, a gray minivan pulled into the Hollywood Casino at Greektown parking structure, parked on the 9th floor. Either it ran out of gas or had a mechanical issue, leaving the family of 6 without heat.
Around noon, the mother inside the van, along with 5 children, noticed that one of the children wasn't breathing. And she called family to come help, to convey to Children's Hospital.
That was the 2-year-old. Then,
and I want to mention what the news is saying right now, what that police person was saying right now, is not the same thing that the police chief was saying, and we're going to watch that next.
Not long after, the mom called the same family member, their godmother, to say the 9-year-old child was not breathing. Both were taken to Children's Hospital downtown, pronounced dead. Doctors believe they froze to death.
Sad, very sad, especially as a father. I just can't imagine what the family is feeling. I wish it hadn't have happened.
The 2-year-old wearing a T-shirt and pull-up. The older child in a T-shirt and jogging pants, only a couple blankets in the car. The other 3 children also checked out at the hospital are expected to be okay. They're being placed with Children's Protective Services, and now their mom is detained, being investigated for possible criminal charges.
I don't think anyone really wants to think about that at the moment with the 2 children passed, but the reality is that the circumstances do have to be examined. We have to figure out how to go forward.
The city of Detroit has a helpline set up for unsheltered people.
Now, I am 43 years old, okay? And I never have seen or heard of anyone telling us about a hotline number. I've never heard of the number. I've never seen it posted anywhere. I've never, and again, I said before, I said, if I became homeless tomorrow, I would have no idea what to call, because that's not it's not advertised as much as it should in case people need help. So I'm not saying that it's not information out there. However, they don't put forth that once the weather is this bad, I do feel like, hey, let's put out information in case someone needs help. Okay.
Number is on the screen. It's up and running 6 days a week.
When you call the helpline, there's a specialist that will answer the call and walk the family through the resources and services that are available.
Here in Detroit, there are over 1,400 beds for people that don't have homes, and about 110 of those are reserved for those drop-in emergency situations that this family could have taken advantage of. As far as the criminal investigation, Detroit police now working backwards. We do understand that the family did at one time live in an apartment on the city's east side, but they don't anymore. They were.
And I also feel like the news people from the beginning was trying to defend the city. We're trying to make it seem as if, well, there's all of this availability, so there's no reason that she should have been homeless. And I'm like, that's not true. To make it seem as if we have 13,000 beds or whatever you said. I feel in my spirit, I felt like from the beginning they were trying to make it seem as if it's not our fault. It ain't the city's fault. She didn't reach out. She didn't do this. There's all this available. And I feel like they're not being honest about what is going on in the city of Detroit and the surrounding cities here. And I because I'm not from any other state. I don't know what happens in Chicago, Illinois, and in Atlanta. I don't know about any other city and state. I'm here. And I can say for a fact, I have never seen, I don't even know where a homeless shelter is. If I wanted to donate to a homeless shelter, I have no idea where one is. I've never ridden past one and it said homeless shelter. I've never seen it at all. So again, I wanted to show y'all the first news story that came out that kind of blamed the mama without saying it's the mama fault. You know, because to point out we have these beds, we have these drop-off centers, you know, that you can go to all the time. Okay, it made me mad because, of course, now they're saying what's supposed to happen. Of course, now they're saying what could have been done. And some folk may know things and some folk do not. But I can guarantee you, 89.72% of the city or the state of Michigan don't know what to do if you become homeless one day. Okay.
We're living out of that van. They're reviewing security footage here at Hollywood Casino to see if this is a place where they came often. Still a lot to unpack. And again, this is a full-blown criminal investigation now with Mom. Reporting live in Greektown, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
Well, Jessica, wondering why it took the mother so long to realize two of her children weren't breathing or weren't responsive. Was there a chance, are police looking into the chance that she might have been inside the casino at one point?
If the fact that they said they pulled into the casino at 1 o'clock in the morning, meaning they probably were sleeping. How many parents go put their kids to bed at night and go to sleep and the kid can act to die overnight? So even to ask the question, well, how did the mom not know that bitch, she was asleep? So again, to me, from the beginning, they were trying to blame her in every way. Again, the kids died Monday morning. This is the new, our Fox 2 News here. This is the news talking at 6, 7 p.m. at night. Child ain't even been 24 hours, and they're saying, well, maybe it was the mama in the casino. How did she not know her kid? Because sleep. Any parent would not know their child is dead when they all sleep at night.
And then came out and realized this?
That's a good question. We asked that earlier. There wasn't an indication that she was inside, more so looking for a safe, kind of tucked away place to park her vehicle. But those are questions that they'll be reviewing that video and possibly use it as evidence. But it just all happened very quickly. You're talking really only 11 hours or so without heat. It's unclear in that time when the children passed or if they had any predisposition, malnourished or anything like that.
Malnourished. We went from, was the mama gambling in the casino? How did she not know the kids are dead? Were the kids not fed? Were they malnourished? Less than 24 hours after the story, they're already saying, was it, again, so this narrative started and folks instantly blaming the mama. And not only from this, and again, most, our news is 2, 4, and 7. Each news station had a kind of the same conversation, which made, social media, the public here, pick one side or the other. And I'm like, how y'all already, asking questions, coming up with a narrative because, they parked us in the casino parking lot. She must have been gambling. Now, my thing is, because it's cameras in downtown by the casinos, there are cameras everywhere because there's so much business down there. It's cameras everywhere. If that mom had pulled into the parking garage and got out her car and at any point went in the casino, they would already know that. But y'all trying to put up this notion that that's what she did. But again, I'm leaving it alone. Now, I want to next show y'all the we're gonna hear from the mayor in them. Okay. Now, again, the reason y'all know we don't do nothing quickly here. Okay. Okay. So the mayor and also the police chief. The mayor is Mike Duggan in the outfit. I'm sorry, I do not know the police chief's name here. It's fine. Now, from the time the news came out on Monday evening that the kids had passed away until this conversation, it was again the question remained: who do we blame? Now, initially, we didn't even have nothing about the daddy. All we saw was the mom. Now we're gonna watch the mama's full interview and the daddy full interview. Okay, but it was aggravating because all that was being blamed and fingers pointed was stuff at the mama. We're gonna blame the mama. When folks were saying, what the daddy at? When folks asked, what about what the city did? People still dogging out the mama. And I'm like, that lady lost 2 of her kids in one day in her car. But I digress. Okay. So we saw the news story. Now we're going to now hear what they say happened, because now they've had time to piece together with video of stuff, the preliminary information from the doctors, from the hospital, whatever. So again, let's listen to police chief man and also in 1 second, the mayor, Mike Duggan.
Here to give an update about the tragic situation.
And I had to speed up their voices because they just talk slow and it was longer. So I did not speed it up to be funny, but because they kind of were talking slow, I just sped it up just for time.
That happened with 2 of our young people, children, that preliminarily it looked like they froze to death, died from exposure to hypothermia. So everything that I'm going to give you at this point is preliminary in nature as we continue with our investigation. So therefore, it could be subject to change, and I'll give further updates later. But the children were asleep in a car on the 9th floor of a casino parking structure, the Hollywood Casino. The mother realized that her 9-year-old son wasn't breathing.
Now, remember, y'all, the news first told y'all the 2-year-old was first. And the police was like, again, that first news story wasn't even accurate. It was people making up a narrative based on limited information of 2 kids in blopty blue. Even trying to say how old the kids ain't have no clothes on, block the kid, the police people or whatever found the kids. No, not at all. No, that ain't true at all. See, I'm telling y'all, no, she was not in a casino. The daddy wasn't nowhere around. So again, people making up, narratives because they don't have the information. That's why I'm here. That's why I pulled each and every interview and all the pieces so that people can stop making assumptions, which then cause discourse, which then cause people to dog that mama, dog pile on that mama who's already devastated from losing her 2 children. Just saying. But again, the police chief man saying at first the 9-year-old son, her 9-year-old was her oldest son, the 2-year-old was her youngest child. It was a daughter. Okay, the 9-year-old was first. Let's listen. I'm gonna try not to pause too much and talk for us to listen.
Also, previous to that, she had already called a friend, another, close relative, to help because with the vehicle not running, trying to figure out whether it was a mechanical failure, it had ran out of gas. So they were already on site in another vehicle, attempting with gasoline to get the vehicle started.
Now, let me add into that, okay? Because initially, the news said, 2, 4, and 7 here in Detroit, Michigan, was saying or making it seem as if the mama never called 911. They made it seem as if the mama woke up at the casino, in the parking structure, the parking garage. And instead of calling 911, she called her of some friends to come get her, making it seem like she's irresponsible because what parent see their child not breathing and calls a friend and don't call 911? Okay. And as the police chief is saying, the mama was already up because why? It's cold outside and my car's off. The car cut off overnight. What's wrong with the car? Call a friend. Do what? Come try to get my car started because I'm home. I live my car. Okay. So even that narrative was not accurate. That the mama did not call 911. That she called a friend and the cop saying the friend in the car was already there because the van wouldn't start. And they were trying to get the van started.
When the mother realized that her son wasn't breathing, she did make a 911 call, but the friend in a Buick immediately transported the 9-year-old, put him in the car and transported them to Children's Hospital. While en route to Children's Hospital, as they checked on the other children that were in the van, and it was a total of 5 children in the van, they realized at some point that the 2-year-old wasn't breathing, and so a telephone call was made to the friend that was transporting the 9-year-old at Children's Hospital to return so that the 2-year-old could be picked up. Once the vehicle returned, the Buick, we have videotape where we see the whole entire family get into the Buick, and they all were transported to Children's Hospital.
Now, downtown Detroit, Children's Hospital is close, so it's not far. So again, him saying that the mama did call 911 about the child not breathing. But since the family friend was already there, said, no, I'm here. Let's get to the hospital. Okay. And the fact that they thought only the 9-year-old wasn't responsive. If you focus on the 9, and y'all know a 2-year-old could still be asleep. You know what I'm saying? Because who wake up and assume their kids is dead? Nobody. Many times you can wake up and you assume your child is asleep because it's early morning. You know what I'm saying? So again, and if we're focused on the 9-year-old who we know for a fact ain't breathing, boom, pow, pow, while rushing that kid off, and you being right like, well, damn, the baby ain't sleep. The baby, you know what I'm saying? So the mama left with the friends with the 9-year-old, and then her mom, who was still in the car, realized the 2-year-old wasn't conscious. Calling, oh my God, come back. Because again, it takes more time most of the time to get an ambulance to you than it can that you are already there. Okay. So again, them saying the mama did call 911, the family friend said, no, I can take y'all, and then coming right back to the 2-year-old to get them there. Yeah. Children's is a few minutes away from the casino downtown because it's all in the same area. So you can get there roughly about 5-7 minutes. You know how we drive. So yeah.
With that, like I said, the call came in at 12:12 from the mother. It was very limited information that was given to our 911 call taker as to the location of where everything was happening. It was just at the casino, no description of the vehicle, etc. Our call taker continuously kept the line opening, trying to identify where in the description and what was going on. A 911 call taker called the mom back numerous times, and ultimately we received a call from the hospital that they had 2 children there who were deceased. Our officers responded to the hospital. The hospital had notified us at 12:47. Our officers, like I said, responded to the hospital, and from there we continued with the investigation, talked to the mother, and also talked to the grandmother, and they were able to give us the specific locations as to where the van actually was that was parked on the 9th floor at the Motor City Casino.
And again, now we watched the news station tell y'all the police found the kids in the van with a onesie on, a t-shirt, and him saying, we did not even know where the car was at the casino parking lot. We saw a video of the family all leaving the car and going to the hospital. So the news telling y'all initially, hey, the kid was in the car with no clothes on. It wasn't even factual. Him just saying we had to find out after the kids passed away at Children's Hospital, and we then was told what kind of car and what a car was. That we go to the car to look in it. At that point, was no one in the van. Yeah, there is cameras. If you are in Detroit, downtown Detroit is very safe because it's cameras everywhere. It's a police presence all the time. Like it's safe there. It's active there. If you're homeless and you're parked on a residential street, it's not as many cameras or whatever. It's safer. It is safer downtown. If you're sleeping in your car.
And so we do know that on that day and time that the temperatures were below 32 degrees. And from all, talking to hospital staff, and of course, ultimately the medical examiner will determine the cause of death. But just on the surface right now, it appears that it was exposure to hypothermia.
Thanks, Chief.
So this is Mayor Mike Duggan. Now, I will say this for Mike Duggan. Mike Duggan has been a good mayor in Detroit. Now, I technically live in Warren, okay? But I am Detroit born and raised, all up and through, okay? So he ain't my mayor per se right now. But again, Mike, what I have, my mom lives in the city of Detroit still. Okay, you know what I'm saying? He has done a good job with things. So he's not a bad mayor. He's not a bad mayor, okay? Could things be better? Yes. And I feel like this situation will probably force him to be better because, sir.
It's a terrible day in Detroit as we deal with the tragic loss of two young people, and it's got to make us rethink everything that we're doing. The heartbreaking part of this is that there were family shelter beds available just a few miles away from where the family pulled in to their Greektown structure, but it brings home the point that having services available doesn't mean very much if the residents who need them don't know how to access them.
And what I can appreciate, what the news was saying, oh, if there's all this available, the news day one, and then people was like, oh, there's all this stuff. And like you're saying, it don't matter what's available if no one knows how to find it, if no one knows it's there. I did not even know. I still don't really know what's available for people who are homeless. I do feel like there is a difference between a single woman who's homeless and what she may have available to a woman with 4 kids who's homeless and what's available to a single man. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there are different levels because where a woman with 4 kids can call may not be where a single person with no kids can go to. So again, I like that he at least said, we do have all the stuff available. It was available down the street from where she was. However, if no one knows how to get to it, if no one knows it's available, doesn't even matter.
I meet every 2 weeks with the police chief and all of the command staff to talk about what's going on. And last winter, the commanders were telling me that they were picking up unsheltered individuals in the evening and taking them to shelters and couldn't get them in, which made me very angry because I thought we had contracts that shelters did not turn people away. But we got our housing and redevelopment team together with the Detroit Police Department and dramatically changed things for this winter. We added 400 more shelter beds, going from 900 to 1,300 for this winter. And then we added another 110 drop-in beds. And drop-in beds are really important because while a shelter may be full, the drop-in center will take an individual any time of the evening and never turn anybody away. And 75 of those beds were family beds, exactly the type we needed here.
Sir, Mr. Duggan, okay, that's great. But even having 900 beds go up to, 400, whatever like this, there are more people who are homeless than you guys have available. And even him admitting that, last winter, the police were having to, find folks who was homeless on these streets and take them somewhere, means the people who are homeless don't know where to go. And if I'm homeless, do I have a phone? Do I have access to internet? Do I even know where to call to? I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? So again, him saying it was worse last year when I found out that the police were having to take folks to play, I upset and blah, blah, bloop. And so we added more this winter. We had the drop-ins and all these things. But if no one knows what's going on, if no one maybe feels safe, if they have, again, this was a mother, her 4 kids, plus the grandmama and a kid and then a 17-year-old. Like, what place has room for all of them? If I'm a mother of 4 and wherever I call to, there's not enough room for me and my 4 kids, I can't go there. I'm not going to leave my kid. You know what I'm saying? Again, the mama seemed like she wanted to keep her kids together. And the mama was in a 2002 like minivan type of car or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If the shelter is across town, can I make it there? How long can I stay? Is it safe? Is my kids safe? What kind of people are there? I have 4 kids. It's 9 from 2 years old to 9. Is my kids safe in this environment? Who else around here? So it sounds good to say we have 1,400 beds and some drop-in centers, but is it safe there? And how do I know? Because I didn't know that shit.
And then we added a third piece. The angels of this city are our homeless outreach workers. What they are doing out in the cold and talking to our individuals about their problems every day is remarkable. But DPD complained that in the evening they did not have the access to the homeless outreach workers. And so this winter we put the outreach workers on 24-hour shifts, continual service, so that any time of the day or night, DPD can immediately reach an outreach worker and place an individual.
And the reason we know that system must be flawed is because of this mother and her 4 kids, plus her mama and then 2 other individuals who were under 18, were homeless on the streets of Detroit for months and months and months. Where is the 24-hour folks who's on? What are they looking at? Where are they looking? That they did not notice. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the criteria to find homeless individuals to help them get off the streets?
And all winter long, I have heard great compliments at the way the Detroit police are working with the outreach team. As people in the city know, our officers do not treat the homeless with a criminal response. They almost invariably go out with an outreach worker talking about where they could go. So as we look at what happened here, we know this has been a lot colder winter. And the details I'm going to give you are also preliminary. Chief Bedison is examining the side from the police department, but we're also going to examine everything that happened here from a housing services standpoint. And so we're only 18 hours into this, and what I say may turn out to change as we go. But here's what I am told from the housing department that we do know.
And I also want to mention, the mama said she's been homeless since November. I will say, as far as the weather in Detroit, it's just starting now to get cold. Our coldest months are not November, December. Our coldest months is the end of January and February. Like, February is our real winter month. That is when, if it's going to be a bad winter, it starts in February. And if she had been homeless since November, cold nights were not as cold in November, December as it is right now. Like, right now is when we're getting in the below zero temperatures, the negative degree temperatures, the single is starting now. And so he's right in saying that we have it's really cold here now. because this is our winter. Our winter start. Yeah, it's really it's the end of January. This is for my birthday because my birthday, my birthday January 6th, January 16th. I never really plan stuff because it can be a blizzard. January, February, and early March is when it's the worst. But February is when it's the coldest. If it's going to be a bad winter, it's going to hit us in February.
That this family reached out to our homeless response team on November 25th. They had reached out earlier in the summer and even back into the previous year, but reached out on November 25th, essentially saying they had been living with a family. They were no longer going to be able to keep living with that family and needed a place to go.
So again, the mayor is admitting the mama did reach out for help in November, before November. So the mama had reached out a couple of times having issues with housing. So for folks saying the mama didn't call, why if she been calling if I've been calling you since before I was homeless, and y'all ain't if I'm telling y'all I'm going to be homeless, what can y'all do? I need some help. Folks making it seem like because she didn't keep calling after already calling and not getting any help, they still try to fault her. But again, saying we don't know what's available, she had been calling, meaning somebody down there at the Homeless Association of Michigan or whatever it's called, okay, and I made the name up, this thing was aware this woman had been calling about homelessness and she did not get no help. And the mayor saying, yeah, we have record of her. The last call she gave was in November. But him saying, well, she called us before then a couple times. So she was trying to get help.
And in the course of that conversation, there was no resolution reached on where they would go. And one of the things that's important when you call our homeless services folks is that if it's an emergency situation, we send out one of these outreach workers. Because when you're on the telephone, you have people with complicated problems. Sometimes it's hard to.
I had to toss in a joke, okay, to make this not be so right in this part. I had to talk because I don't know what it's called, child. I don't know what it's called.
Figure out exactly what the circumstance is. Is it an emergency? But when a homeless outreach worker goes and lays eyes on the family and sees what's going on, they know exactly what to do. For whatever reason, this wasn't deemed an emergency that caused an outreach worker to visit the family.
If I've been calling a few times about being homeless and no one ever reached out to me, no one ever came to lay eyes on me, to me, that's a break in the system. Because you can't say that there's staff that once they find out that someone needs help and blah, blah, blue, they'll, come and reach out and see you. And no one did that for her situation. Again, because a lot of folks was, oh, she didn't call for help. He telling y'all what she did. However, no one at the Homeless Association of Michigan, which I'm going to call it right now, okay, the HOM, no one followed up with her to say, you know what? She's been calling us for months now. It seems like it's maybe getting worse and worse. Let's try to go and see what the thing is. But him saying, for some reason that never happened. Her situation was never deemed an emergency.
3 weeks later, we opened the Family Drop-In Center on December 16th. It was exactly the type of situation we opened it for. We were opening it to be ahead of the worst temperatures of the winter. At least as far as we've been able to determine so far, the family never called back again for service. And as far as we've been able to tell, our homeless staff never proactively reached out to say, what happened with your situation? Was it resolved? Or to indicate that there might be a room available.
If I've been calling y'all for months about to be homeless, and y'all don't ever call me back, or ever have help for me. I've been calling and trying to get help. So him saying, well, after November, we know she called us before November, but after her last phone call, well, she never called us back. And we didn't call her back either. She didn't call us back to say, hey, I'm still and you know how much it would take to have to call somewhere and say, hey, me and my 4 kids are about to be homeless. How many times do I have to call and say that to the Homeless Association of Michigan before someone helps me? Once y'all open the drop-off center, why did no one call and say, hey, ma'am, if you still need help, here's a new resource that we just opened up. There should be a follow-up for things like this. It should not always be up to the homeless person to call the homeless shelter and say, I'm still homeless. Sometimes you call the homeless person and say, hey, do you still need help? If you call 911 and your phone hang up, they have to call you back to see if you still need help. Because why? They're 911. They are the help center. If you call 911 and the phone hang up, if something is not finalized, if there's no conclusion to the said 911 call for help, they have to call you back. They call back to see, are you okay? The same thing should have to happen because ain't nobody calling a homeless shelter for no reason. No one is calling their homeless shelter for shelter unless they need help. So to not follow up with someone, no one accidentally is going to call the homeless shelter or the homeless hotline to help. No one's going to call that unless they need something. So there's no reason for the Homeless Association of Michigan to not call the people back who called them first.
And so we have to make sure that we do everything possible to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And I'm not trying to talk about an individual employee. I'm talking about the system as a whole. Are we doing everything to make sure people in this city know how to access this critical care? And so I have asked Malia Howard, our deputy mayor, and Julie Schneider, the head of Housing and Revitalization Department, to come back to me with 2 weeks with plans to review this and address it. One, obviously, is the history of the circumstances on this family. But I want a review of our call center and the housing specialist. I've heard times that people say I called and they asked me a lot of questions about classification and the like, and I came away confused. I want to make sure that when people call, they get very clear options when that phone call is made. And I am asking them to put a policy in place that anytime minors are involved experiencing homelessness,
anytime anyone calls the Homeless Association of America for any city, state, county, township, street, drive, place, park, anytime anyone calls that number because of homelessness, follow up, because nobody is calling that line for fun. No one. I'm pretty sure the phone line ain't popping all the time. I'm pretty sure that when the phone rings, it's for a reason. So, Mayor Mike Duggan, cut the bullshit, sir. There absolutely needs to be a look into how things are done. There's no way the call center is popping so much that when anyone calls, there's no one to follow up on that. No way. Now, it's one thing if they call back and the phone out of order and they can't get in contact with the person that called. That part I get, because it may be harder to keep track of someone who don't have a phone. Okay, but most folk have phones these days. I'm leave that on the wayside. However, anyone that called that line deserves a call back, a follow up to figure out what's going on. Even if you just call it and leaving them messages, there's still a line of proof that, hey, John Gotti called us on January 1st and we ain't heard back from him for months and months and months. However, we called every week to leave a message saying, hey, if you need help, these are your options. If things are still bad, this is what's going on. That's thing one. Part two is if someone with kids calls, y'all absolutely should be making sure to get that handled. Absolutely. Child, look, there are tons of empty homes around the city that even if the homes are turned into mini warming stations, okay, mini warming stations, mini whatevers, there are ways to get shit done. They ain't doing it.
That our outreach workers automatically do a site visit. Anytime we've got children in danger of being on the street, I want that outreach worker face to face and identify what the situation is and make sure it is resolved. And finally, I'm asking for a review of our public information process. As you can probably gather, I was up late last night and I went and I looked at the media coverage when we opened the Family Drop-In Center on December 16th. It was remarkable. On all TV stations, all newspapers, all social media, we had extensive coverage that service was there. But the reality is that somebody living in a car or somebody living on the street isn't getting that information
at all. And even if today, if they tell me today, hey, there's a homeless center on the corner of 14 and Main Street, if I'm homeless in 6 months, I don't remember that. So the same way that we have commercials for the restaurants of Detroit, the same way Dan Gilbert is always putting forth commercials of downtown Detroit, of Quicken Loans, the same way they want to promote campus markets, the same way they want to promote all these good, positive of the Riverwalk, the same way the city promotes the positive things to go spend your money on in downtown Detroit. Put that same effort to having advertising for homeless shelters, women abuse centers, okay, men abuse centers, whatever. The resources that people could need, okay, do that too. Putting forth a big push to promote something when it first opens, that's cool. But what about the people who ain't see that? What about if that came out in December? Again, that happened in December. It's February. I ain't seen that near commercial. I ain't seen if we can hear it on the radio, okay, on social media, on the social media pages of the city. All of that should be posted every week, so that no one can say I had no idea. Social media free. The same people who post on social media from the city of Detroit. Okay, but why I said City of Fry? I said DET. Lord Jesus. The City of Detroit's web IG page, it has 168,000 followers. Okay, 168,000 followers on. Y'all know I'm gonna share screen. You know I'm gonna do it. The City of Detroit's IG page, because most folks be on IG or TikTok. Okay. And I mean this for this goes for every city in every state. Because every city of every state has homeless people. There are homeless people in Beverly Hills. There are homeless people everywhere. So every city on their social media, okay, should put forth information before 2 kids die. It should be up here. Now again, this just happened. Okay. Where is it? It is freezing cold. Y'all know it because it's been snowing like crazy. Okay, let's skate. Okay, let's skate. D6, you got this up here again. Yes, promote all the good stuff too. The fire department, cool. Again, we have a whole page of the city around here. Okay, yeah, let's show the beautifulness of the city. However, if I'm homeless, where do I go? Okay, so anybody who has a phone can easily get to the IG page. It should be a post somewhere around here saying where to go if I'm homeless. That ain't around here. Okay, no. But hey, Mike Duggan smiling. Okay, opening up La Jolla Gardens. Okay, and stuff. What is that? Oh, the new apartments. No part. If I can't afford this apartment, where can I go if I can't afford this? Where do I go if I can't afford that? Because I can't afford a house. I'm homeless. Where do I go? So again, it's cold outside. Because you're posting about the snow plowing, residential streets, snow season. So again, if no one's saying where to go, what we gonna do?
And I want us to think through how we make sure the people who need it the most know that we are there for them. The people in this city who are working on this are remarkable. You have got churches, you have got nonprofits, you have got warming centers. You have a lot of people in the city willing to step up and help during the winter. But I think it's really important right now that we just clarify to everybody 2 simple rules, and we have to do this to make sure it doesn't happen again. If during the day you are in danger of homelessness, you call the hotline. It's about well-publicized 866-313-2520. But if it's after 6 o'clock at night and an incident's happened, you've been pushed out of the house, you're in an emergency situation, go to your police precinct. Because in this city, our police work hand in hand with our homeless prevention folks.
I didn't know that. I would have never known. If I'm homeless, I can go to the police and say, hey, I am home. I just would not know that. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't even think that. That's why most folks who are homeless will go and live in their car. They will get a room. They will, So again, this is great. It's great they're saying this now. I don't think anyone would think if I'm homeless, let me go to the police. They'll help me because they'll give me a house. No one thinks that.
And if you get to the police precinct, you don't need to navigate anything. The officers there will greet you and take care of you and make sure you get to the shelter that you need. We just can't have something like that happen in this city again.
Now, I want to move on. Well, the deputy mayor talked a little bit. Let's do that part. It's a little bit.
So the deputy mayor and the head of Housing Resources have been on their assignment for about 2 hours. I know they'll get it done thoroughly and competently. And with that, I'll introduce the deputy mayor, Malia Howard.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. As we stand here today, we do truly mourn the loss of these 2 children. It is.
What I love that she came out and did, her first comment was, we mourn because housing, this and that, but 2 kids died. We here for this reason. We mourn. The city is upset. You hear me?
Completely tragic, and our hearts are heavy. No parent, no family, no mother should ever have to endure such hardship and heartbreak. And so our hearts go out to her and to her mother and her extended family. As Mayor Duggan just stated, over the course of the next 14 days, my team and I, along with Director Schneider and the Housing Department, will undertake a complete process review of what has happened. And we will provide the mayor with that feedback and those actionable items within 14 days. But I want to say this. If you are experiencing homelessness, if you are living in your vehicle, if you are on the imminent danger of being put out, please contact 866-313-2520. Again, please continue to pray for this family. As Detroiters, I know that we will lift them up in our hearts and do so. But please, again, if you know of anyone or if you yourself are experiencing these issues, please call 866-313-2520. Again, as Mayor Duggan stated, if it's after hours, please go to the nearest police precinct. Please. This is to support you and your families. So please know that we are here for you and continue to serve you. And again, the full strength of the administration is behind this effort, and my complete attention will be on nothing but this moving forward. So thank you.
Now look, me either. Had never seen her, had never heard, did not know. Come on now, compassion from the black woman around here, that's what it was. Okay, so again, we've now watched the news people who was on some B of the S. We've heard from the police chief. We've not heard from the actual mayor of Detroit and also the deputy mayor as well. So again, I want to get into the mom's full interview that she did with Channel 7. Now, okay, let me let y'all know. Wait, hold on. So let me first put on here. As I mentioned, let me pop this up. The mama is Tatiana Williams. That's who had the kids. The daddy around there, we gonna get his ass next. Okay? Because the daddy did a press conference. The daddy did an interview with the news because the mama did one. Okay? So the mama, Tatiana, 29 years old, 4 children of her own. 8 is from 9 years old to 2 years old. Again, the 9-year-old son, the 2-year-old daughter are both the children who passed away. She still has I believe the other kids were 4 and 7. That's in her custody still. So the mama is now in a homeless shelter. She is in some kind of housing. The remaining, her other surviving children were with family. She doing an interview with Channel 7 like the following day because it was such a whirlwind story here. You can see, now again, I want y'all to understand the reason why I am choosing to show her interview in full. It's her interview is 13 minutes because I kept seeing clips of her interview, and to me it looked as if they were like trying to make it fit a narrative or whatever, and I was like, no, what she endured is wrong. And sometimes we have to see the ugly, hurtful side of things to be sure it don't happen again. And I feel like her full emotions and expression of how she feels needs to be seen. You know what I'm saying? I got the daddy next. Okay, we're gonna get in that ass next. But again, I know it's sad, y'all, but we can't avoid some things. Okay? And stuff. So we're gonna get into the mama. And that's the mama, that's her cousin who's sitting there.
Is very sorry for your loss. Can you take me back to yesterday? I know this is tough.
Yesterday, it was like a normal day. We got up. We did a... Yesterday, I woke them up to wake them up from school. My son wasn't moving. And I kept saying, Freddie, please get up. Please. Please, for me, just get up. Don't do this to me. And I tried to give him CPR because I'm a senior and a medical assistant. I've been working there since I was 17. I tried to give him CPR and I was just giving him CPR. I just kept saying, Freddie, don't leave me. Don't leave me, please. I saw the green and brown stuff come out of his mouth. I instantly rushed him to the hospital. I was yelling out the window, "Stop, stop, stop. We got to get through traffic. My baby, he's dying." We get to the hospital. I told valet, "Can you go get some help?" He took too long, so I got out the car to get help. They came to the car, instantly grabbed my baby on his head, "Get a stretch. He's not breathing. Help." Cold blue. Everybody tried. I didn't even know my 2-year-old was dying. I was in it with my 9-year-old. And they brought her in right after they pronounced him dead. And my mama came to me, she said, "Yaya." That's what we call her, but her name is Amelia. We just call her Yaya. And they said she wasn't breathing. And they pronounced her dead too. I asked everybody for help. I called out of state. I called cities I didn't know. I called cities people asked me to call. I even asked Detroit. I've been on cam list for the longest. Everybody now wants to help. After I lost 2 kids, I've been asked for help.
I want to go over a couple things. Hold on. Hey, I think the reason she did the interview, because again, here, as soon as the story was on the news, it was instantly a viral situation here in the city. And it was a lot of people blaming her. It was a lot of people saying that she's negligent. It was false narratives being told. So I think the reason she gave an interview because, one, you can tell she's not even fully mentally there. You can tell that she's still very much so distraught, and she's just talking out of pure, pureness. And again, media today, you have to get your narrative out, because again, what people were saying was already not true. Even when the news put out, day one wasn't valid. So Channel 7 reached out to get the clear story of what happened. And she did. Yeah, she's only 29. She's 29 years old. Again, 4 children from age is 9. I think 9 and 2 for sure. And I believe the other 2 children were 4 and 7.
I feel like it wasn't their time. I did everything I was supposed to do. They had everything. Everything they wanted. Only thing they didn't have was a house. But from electronics to clothes, anything they asked me for, my kids didn't even get whooped. I lost the one who made me a mother. I lost a 2-year-old. I'm dying inside. It hurt. I feel like my heart is breaking. And I have 2 more kids to live for. And I just don't know how to make it for them. It's hard when you want 2 kids back and got 2 kids. And everybody got this picture with not knowing my heart. Everybody who around me know I love them kids before I loved myself. I gave them whatever they asked for, iPhones, tablets, clothes, shoes, anything they asked for, I got for them. Homeless or not. Only thing we didn't have was a house. They went to school every day. They go to school in Ecorse, Michigan, because I thought DPS wasn't a good system.
And DPS, if y'all not DPS is Detroit Public Schools. Ecorse is a different city here. So even her saying, I put my kids in a whole different school district to help them. We didn't have no house. Because you remember when the news station did the story and they said, were the kids malnourished? And her saying, my kids had everything they needed except a house. We ain't had no house, but my kids had what they needed except a house. I tried my best. You know what I'm saying? So, and I said, this needs to be seen, because so many folks was like dogging her out as if she ain't lose 2 kids. So we can't want to turn away from her pain, because we do not want anyone else to have to go through this.
Like, they learn new languages out there. They know Spanish, they learn it. I haven't even got a chance to talk to my other 2 kids or see them after this happened. And everybody painting a picture that they don't even know. Y'all don't know. I tried. I asked for help. I asked everybody, even people out of state. It took my 2 kids to die for y'all to help me. It just don't work like that. And no, I don't trust, like, I trust the people that's around me now, but I don't trust Detroit. It hurt because I asked for help and I called people out of state, Minnesota, Ohio, everywhere. It took me to lose my oldest and my youngest to get help. Living in the car.
And you talked about having asked for help. How long have you been in this situation? How long have you been living in your vehicle?
I've been homeless for a while, but I've been paying for hotels. I've been paying to stay at people's house. Recently, I got put out of a house because he don't like kids at his house. So he was putting everybody out, but they had to decide was it her daughter or me that go. And I had to go. So that's been about 3 months I've been sleeping in the car. But just like every other night, I lay them down in their spots. They got spots. I lay them down. I hold my daughter because she's 4. She wants to sleep on me all the time. That's my 2-year-old. So I hold her all night. It's just that night it was really cold. I was trying to warm her up and I put her in the back with the rest of the kids.
And even for that point, you know, when it's cold outside, you know, body heat will warm people up. So if all of the other kids is in the back, it's warmer back there because it's more body heat. So, you know, again, if y'all not from here, when this, I guess I want to point out the fact that the reason she's talking is because of the conversations that were coming out of this story and the blame she was taking from people. And absolutely, housing here or anywhere is a luxury. You know, again, I told y'all my rent going up. Now I got a raise at work. I got a promotion up. But many people rent goes up and their pay rate ain't going up. You know, apartment complexes and landlords, even people's mortgages, things get more expensive as if we're making more money. So her saying I was living somewhere, couldn't stay there because they don't like kids, you know, and so I had to go. Me and my kids had to go. But again, she's talking because of what was being said about her that happened, the false narrative of people accusing her of being negligent in the past, in the first 2. So her even saying like, I put my daughter in the back with the other kid because it was so cold. You know, I believe it was below 30. You know, we've had pretty cold, but it's regular cold here for us as Michiganders. You know what I'm saying? At night, it's going to be, you know, it can be anything between 10 degrees at night, negative 10 degrees or whatever. And overnight, it just gets colder.
What is it you would want the public to know? So many watching.
Just to know that I love them. I tried to get help. I tried everything I could. You know, the picture people paint is not true. If they ask anybody, those kids had everything. It's not true. I loved them. They all I had. I didn't have nobody else. And my kids were like this. We were best friends. Like, to lose them too, I can't even live for the 2 I got. It hurt. It hurt. And I got 2 other kids I got to live for. And I've been telling everybody, I just want my 2 back. I tried everything. I tried. Everybody knew my situation. And now everybody want to act like, oh, now that they dead, that I'm supposed to get some help. I asked everybody before this happened, before we had to sleep in the car in many months, before anything. You know, it's hard. It was just me. I didn't have no baby daddies helping. None of their daddies came around. I even asked their father. The 3 kids I did have, which was 2 that passed away. His name is
We're going to get into the daddy after this. I have his interview. We're going to get into the daddy.
I asked him, I said, can you get your kids for me? I said, I need help. You know I'm homeless. I done kept a room this long. I couldn't keep it no more. He didn't help. Nobody helped. And all of a sudden they gone, everybody want to come around and help. It's too late. I lost 2 kids. The one that made me a mother, and the one that just, oh, she was only 2. She didn't even get to live her life. She didn't get to do nothing. She lost her life because I had to sleep in the car.
And so now, just speaking to not just your situation, but the system.
The system needs to help these women with kids. We call y'all, we ask y'all for help. Y'all don't help. Y'all put us on that CAM list, and CAM don't call nobody. They don't call nobody.
She got pissed. She got pissed because she's saying we ask for help and no one helps. I asked for help and no one helped. I'm being put on a wait list and no one helped me.
We keep calling. They still say it's a wait list. I'm pretty sure it's a homeless shelter out there somewhere that's open. Should nobody have to lose their kids to get help? I had to lose 2. I wouldn't wish this on nobody. Like.
And I know I was hearing you're about to start a new job. You're trying to improve your situation.
I start my new job tomorrow. I was so happy. So happy about this new job because they already had accepted me, but I declined it because of my situation. And I finally got in again, just about to go to work. How am I supposed to work missing 2 kids? I can't get over the fact that they gone. I can't get over the fact that I saw them laying there. It hurt that I'll never hold my 2-year-old again. It hurt bad. Nobody understands, and everybody got this picture, and nobody really knew how hard I rode for them kids.
Because on social media here in Detroit, everyone was blaming her. Everyone, I won't say everyone, a lot of the posts were about it's her fault, she's negligent, she should be arrested, she didn't do enough. You know, how dare she be a mom and not protect her children? How dare she be a mom and be homeless in the van? Why didn't she? It was so many posts making her out to be a negligent parent. And so that's what made her speak out. I know for a fact, the friends I know was on social media, arguing about it. Because most of us who felt like, why y'all ain't giving this lady no grace? The kids just died yesterday, and y'all already have condemned her as if she's a negligent parent, and not as if she had a extremely tragic situation based on her circumstances. So she had to speak out just in defense of herself, and her pointed out, I love my kids. I did all I could for my kids. We just did not have a house.
I just want them back. I just want them back so bad. I say sorry because I tried everything. All they didn't have was a house. And I'm sorry for that. But I didn't have to hurt like this. I'm so sorry. I couldn't get a house. But I asked for help. I asked everybody, even out of the state. Everybody knew. My kids' school knew I was homeless and needed help. They provided clothes and shoes and stuff.
Because some folks said, well, why did she ask the school for help? Why? And she like, the school knew too. The school knew, and her saying the school knew, and the school gave us clothes and shoes. Yeah, her mom was also homeless with her. Her mom, a sibling, a younger sibling, I think like 13-year-old sibling, and then one other kid who was like under like 16 or 17. But she said how, she had been living here and there with family and friends or whatever, but because it was so many of them, she couldn't stay too long.
It hurt losing 2 kids in one night. I don't wish this on nobody. And if you can get help, please go get help. Because I don't want nobody else to go through what I'm feeling. Just wherever you can get help from. If it's not from the city, the state, no other city or state, just go. Like, you don't have to suffer. No, I'm suffering because it hurt. And I want them back and I'll never get them back. And I lost them and I asked for help. It's bad. And then I'm supposed to appreciate the help I got now. And I can't even appreciate it because it took 2 of my kids to get it. It's not worth it. I appreciate everybody. And I want to say thank you. But right now, it's only been a day.
Still fresh.
I just want to get over there being gone. That's it.
You take the time you need to process. Now, the parking garage, had you been moving to various spots, or how did you decide where you would stay?
We would stay where it was like secluded because it would be people sweeping the thing, they would look out for us. This is why we would stay secluded. But we weren't nowhere where we knew we weren't safe. We just made sure we parked where they felt safe. And I chose the wrong parking spot. That's just that. I chose the wrong parking spot. And I lost 2, not 1 in one day. And I regret having to sleep out there so bad. I tell them I'm sorry, but I tried. I tried to keep hotels. I tried to pay people to stay there. It wasn't working for me. People just didn't like too many kids at their house. They didn't.
Were there opportunities with shelters?
No, nobody would help me. I would keep calling Cam.
Someone was asking, one of the reporters was asking about if she had help with the shelters, and her saying, I kept calling Cam. That's the shelter number here.
I called Detroit, I called Minnesota, I called Ohio, I called a couple cities and states, and asked them if I come down there, would they be able to help me get a house? Help me do something. I said, because Detroit is not helping me. I've been on the CAM list a long time. It's no way y'all don't have a shelter available. But as soon as my kids pass, it just come that you have a shelter available. 2 kids had to die for the Detroit to help. For the city want to help me. I asked for help. I asked everybody. 2 kids had to die for that help. That's not help. Y'all made a sacrifice for me to get help. That's not help. They should have still been here. If they would have helped me, I would have still had my kids. I don't.
And that's where her interview ended. So, when the mama had this interview that went out again, the different news stations, cut it up and put pieces here and there. she said verbatim, I asked for help. Because the first narrative was, did I ask for help? Blah, blah, blah. You know, her saying, I don't have no help. The daddies ain't helping me. It's just me. The school knew it was homeless. The school gave us shoes and clothes. I've been trying to pay for hotels, you know, all of this. But her saying verbatim, I asked the daddy, because again, the 2 kids she lost were by the same guy. She has 4 children, 3 by one part, 3 by the baby daddy that we're going to see in 1 second, and then a 4th child by somebody else. So her, like, I asked him to get the kids. I told him I needed help. He said no. He couldn't. For one reason or the other. Now, in a separate interview she did, she just said how when I asked him, could he get him? He said, no, he got to work. You know, he can't. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So the reason the daddy with his punk ass, he then came, child, to do a rebuttal to the mama.
What did you learn about
this? Now, again, yeah. Well, first, y'all, I like the video. Okay, I don't want to play the happy-go-lucky stuff or whatever. This is the situation. Like the video. Okay, like the video. Okay. This motherfucker name is Darnell. Okay. This is Darnell, the father to 3 of her 4 children, the father of both children who passed away. Okay. After the mom's interview went out, and she's, because again, I kept asking from the beginning, what a daddy at? Don't tell me how the mama at fault because the kids. What I have a friend that I've known since high school, a guy, and he was on Facebook. Well, even if that's the daddy, you know, the kids is in her care, so it's her fault. You know, it don't matter. And I said, you look. And I always say this: people love to judge because their worst moments did not become public. Because their worst moments maybe did not end up in someone dying. But I know plenty of bad moments of people that if it became the latter day, they would be judged harshly. So it was very aggravating seeing that person judged. But I know for a fact things he has done in his life embarrass his family. And if it became on the news, his family would be pissed at the embarrassment of things he's done over the years. I'm gonna leave it there. Okay. But the daddy then came out to defend himself because the mama said, I asked him for it. Now, I don't know what remedial baby daddy school he went to that he thought what he finna say would make him look like the good father. I don't know what made him think to come around here. You old tackhead, punk ass, deadbeat baby daddy. So you get on my nerve. The fact that you had 3 children with her and she was homeless with your 3 children. And when she asked you to get your kids, you couldn't? Okay, y'all. Let's listen to the baby. Now, we just watched the mama talk. Let's now hear the baby daddy's defense of himself.
About this tragedy.
The reporter had just asked him, the reporter may be a little bit low. The reporter had just asked him, when did you hear about the tragedy of your kid dying? When did you find out your kids was dead?
When did you learn about this tragedy?
I forgot that quick, but I guess yesterday morning or the morning before.
The first question is being, hey, sir, when did you find out your 2 children were dead? You said you forgot that quick. Y'all, this interview was on Wednesday. The kid died on Monday. You forgot that quick. We didn't see the mama tell y'all it's been one day. He can't remember. Okay. That's how this started.
Okay. So yeah, because this happened on Wednesday. Now this happened Monday.
Okay.
And so at some point after that tragedy, like was it a phone call from?
My daddy died 10 years ago today. My daddy died on February 15, 2015. Afternoon time. I was called. I was in my house, in my room, laying down. Drove to my mama's house, then drove to the hospital. I might not know the exact time frame of that day is, but I know for a fact that an hour after my daddy had a heart attack, I got a phone call from my sister, and that was 10 years ago. Today's the 10-year anniversary of my daddy dead. Your kid died 2 days ago, and you can't remember when you got a call that your 2 children died? Okay.
Yeah, I just actually came outside and I went to the gym. As soon as I got on the treadmill, she called saying,
So let's start over. Let's start over. You can't remember when you found out, but you was on treadmill at the house, went to the gym, treadmill.
When did you learn about this tragedy?
I forgot that quick, but I guess yesterday morning or the morning before.
Okay. So yeah, because this happened on Wednesday. Now this happened Monday.
Okay.
And so at some point after that tragedy, like was it a phone call from?
Yeah, I just actually came outside and I went to the gym. As soon as I got on the treadmill, she called saying, can I make it to the hospital right now? They gone.
She being Tatiana?
Yes.
Okay. Can you talk to me about, they were homeless. Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to?
No, she did not. No.
A direct question. Okay. Thank y'all. He asked a direct question. Did she ever call and ask her? Now he's saying no. No, she did not. No, she did not. Okay. Y'all, he's saying she ain't call and ask for help.
Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to?
No, she did not. All she said was, can I get them? Can I get them just to get them? And can I get them because y'all homeless? That's 2 different things.
No, she never called to ask me for help to get the kids. I mean, she did call me and ask me, can I get them? But she didn't say, can I get them because she's homeless. They're your children. They are your children. You a dreadlock wearing lie. Because you can't say, no, she didn't ask me. Well, she did call and ask me to get them. But, to get them or versus to get them because you homeless, it don't matter. It shouldn't matter. And the fact that you feel like you have the ability to tell the mother of your 3 children, nah, I can't get them just to get them. No, I can't. Now, if you homeless, I'll get them. But if you want me to get them just to get them, nah. Nigga, what?
So, no, she did not.
You can tell that when he said that she only asked me to get him, but not get him because he's homeless. You can tell the reporter probably was like, "Nigga, what? That's your answer? That's your answer." The fact that the reporter waited like, wait a minute, that's your response. Okay.
They were homeless. Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to?
No, she did not. All she said was, "Can I get him? Can I get him just to get him, and can I get him because y'all homeless?" That's two different things. So no, she did not.
But that don't make no sense.
Shut up! That is so stupid.
So I'm gonna make sure I understand what you're saying is, she would sometimes ask you to.
Yes, she would just
take care of.
She just asked, "Can I get him for a couple of days?" But I told her I'm working and all that, and I'm out here. We're not close to each other, so I couldn't. But she knows all my family is right around the corner from her.
Yeah, she would ask me to get him. Thank you, Miss MP, for the super chat. It's heartbreaking, and we have to discuss it because niggas like this gets on all my nerves. Because what? Yeah, she would ask me to get them, but not say they homeless. The fact that you were not just getting your kids because you the daddy, and it's 3 of them, and she has another child. The fact that you were not trying to be an active parent, and then it said was out because he live in Novi. Now, if you not look, Detroit is Detroit. Novi is a suburb. You know what I'm saying? It ain't cheap over there in Novi. Okay. So the fact that you're saying, well, I'm over here in Novi. I don't need that's a good 30, 45-minute drive on a good day. Okay. I gotta work. I can't get my kids. I gotta work. Why not call my family? When she called you and asked you for help and you couldn't do it, why didn't you call your family? She called and asked you for help. But to say, well, she could have called my family. You know, they live by her. Why didn't you?
Did she reach out to any of your family?
No, she did not. And she knows she could have, like we always used to do. We always stayed at my sister's house, or my mama would do something.
And the fact that he's saying we always stayed at my sister's house, or my mom would help, which to me means he know that lady been struggling. He know she been struggling. Because why would you say we always would stay at my sister's house, or my mom would help? So that means you know it's something going on. You just didn't care. And if someone called, if the mama of your 3 children, hey, can you get the kids? I need you to help me. Can you get the kids? For your excuse to be, I got to go to work. The fact that you had the luxury to be able to say, no, I don't even care what you got going on. I can't help you. It's just a no. She couldn't say no. She can't leave the kids and go do whatever she want to do. The fact that she said, I had a job, I couldn't work because of me and my kids' situation. I couldn't go to work because of me not having help. And when I called, and before I was in the van, I asked you, can you get the kids? You said, he admitted saying, I can't, I gotta work. The fact that when your kids was dying, you was at the gym. You wasn't at work.
and they right around the corner from each other.
Let's get on that. The fact that his family lived around the corner from her shows his family ain't involved because she homeless. Ain't no corner she live on. She's homeless in a car, meaning his family also was not checking in with the family with the kids. Cause how does your family live around the corner from where she used to stay at, and they did not know a 9-year-old and a 2-year-old is home? Child, I talked. If I called, there's no way my niece, nephew, whatever, would be able to be homeless, and I don't know. The whole family ain't know. And the fact that it's like, oh, well, she didn't tell us. Y'all wasn't in them kids' lives. That's how y'all didn't know.
Do you know how long she had been homeless? She said she had been homeless for 3 months.
Say, I saw it. That's what I saw, about 3 months, but she ain't never said nothing to me. Nothing. So all them other sob stories, they can cut all that. No, she did not.
All them sob stories. All them sob stories. Cut all that. Cut the. This was his direct response to her tearfully, emotionally distraught, crying about how hard it was that she lost her children. And this motherfucker called the news. Okay? Called the news and said, hey, I want to talk. I want to talk. Because I said, nigga, again, this is why I said we can't ignore this. We had to watch that mama's pain to show the difference in a parent. Because even when she said, I asked him for help, she still didn't like dog him out. I asked for help and he said he had to work. He bring his deadbeat ass up here, standing outside, okay, in a non-winter outfit to defend himself and blame the mama and say, well, she never asked me. She never told me she was homeless, but she asked me for help and I had to go to work. I don't remember when my kids died, but I was at the gym on a treadmill because I can afford a gym membership and a treadmill. Even though my children are homeless and now 2 of them are dead. The reporter saying, well, she's been homeless since November. Now, in a separate news story, they said the daddy said he had seen the kids about a month or 2 ago. And if you did see them a month or 2 ago and you could not tell they were homeless, you are the deadbeat bastard that should be blamed. Because if you up in nice and warm and cozy and Novi at the gym and working, you are not helping enough the mother of your 3 children. You up here trying to defend yourself because you're a piece of shit.
Take me back to Monday when you learned this, when you first got the news.
Like, as far as what?
So you got a call from Tatiana, and then you went to the hospital?
Yes.
And I don't think for 1 second he crying because he's sad. He crying because it's cold outside. I don't think the tears has anything to do with him being sad at it's cold outside. He outside.
Learning in that moment. Your 9-year-old and your 2-year-old were gone.
I was hoping it was a sick joke, but it wasn't. So.
Why was it important, or why is it important for you to speak with me right now?
Because I need to let everybody know the truth.
Oh, the truth. Thank you. Thank you, dear God. God, yeah, because all we can say is because him saying, I want the truth out. I need the truth. What truth? He trying to defend himself because the mama said, hey, I asked him for help. And your truth that she didn't tell me directly the kids and her was homeless. I mean, she asked for some help, but I had to go to work. The fact that the interviewer is trying to figure out what the fuck is he talking about, and him, I the truth. What truth?
That's how I feel about it.
What are those elements of truth?
She said she asked, but however you take it, you didn't ask the right way or do what you really was supposed to do.
I hope your dick falls off. You are such a piece of shit. Because who says that someone does not ask for help the right way? Who has to tell you I am homeless? All you have to know is, bitch, I need your help with your children. So if you'd be up here on the news talking to Channel 7 saying that she did not ask for help the right way, you piece of shit ass person. You are a flaw. You should go to hell. Okay? You need your ass beat. And I don't believe in violence except here. Why would you?
Your cousin live right down the up the block, not even a whole 5 minutes away. Why didn't you just go there? You would rather take your little pride and not ask nobody and sleep outside with my kids in the car.
You rather take your pride and sleep in a car. Let me rewind. I need the full wrath of disdain for this because if anybody who was here in Detroit, if y'all see him, trip him, okay? If y'all know him, if y'all know a child, because
Down the up the block, not even a whole 5 minutes away. Why didn't you just go there? You would rather take your little pride and not ask nobody and sleep outside with my kids in the car. Make it make sense.
And I was going to ask you, why do you think, you mentioned pride, and it was her and her.
She got too much pride for herself.
can you imagine 2 days after the kids passed away, because I'm homeless, and after I asked you to get two of the kids, this to help me, you told me no. And you gonna now sit up here outside in the cold and blame me and say it's
That's the big thing. And then I had rooms at Greektown.
bitch what? Okay, oh yeah, y'all. Yeah, he had rooms at Greek. Here we have is Greektown, Motor City. Wait, Greektown, Motor City. Yeah, what's out there? Casino here. Motown, Motor City, Greektown. We have 3 casinos around here. So him now again, y'all. He that's the MGM, Motor City, and Greektown, right? Those are 3. Again, y'all. He stay in Novi. Again, Novi is a little distance from Detroit. Okay, so he don't even live in the city, but him saying he has free rooms here. Y'all, he got free rooms here at the casinos. Okay.
They gave me free rooms. Y'all could have been using them. You didn't say nothing. Why would I not?
This show you how stupid he is.
Free rooms for had about 3-4 months. And I'm telling you, I got them. You ain't not once said that you needed to take one.
Why would you tell your baby mama you have free hotel rooms unless you knew she was homeless? Because if she lives somewhere, why would you need to tell her that you got free hotel rooms? The mama said, I have been paying for rooms. I have been paying to stay with people. You lying. You lying. Because you lying. You lying.
Because you living outside.
Can you describe that for me, having free rooms, like what that,
Like
what that
when
meant?
you play a lot, when they do all your back points and stuff, they give you free rooms and perks and all that stuff. Like,
so when you play a lot, meaning he's always at the casino gambling. And because of it, he's racked up some free room at the casino. But why was none of that money going to your baby mama?
that. So yeah, I've been having those for about 3-4 months. She not once said I was sleeping outside with the kids.
When was the last time you saw your children? When was the last kids talk? Daddy, you know we be outside sleeping in the car. So your kids did not even tell you y'all they was homeless, meaning they don't trust you. You ain't a safe space for them. Because no kid, and you live in Novi. So you want us to believe you out here living in Novi, you working, you can't get the kids, you work, you got free hotel rooms, your family live in Detroit around the corner from her. How is she homeless? And you had 3 or 4 months worth of free rooms, which just so happened to be the same time of how long she's been in the car sleeping.
And I understand there's a police investigation into this. What is it you would like to see come of this? Obviously, nothing's going to bring back your 9-year-old and your 2-year-old.
Don't even matter to me. Can't get them back, so it's whatever. My other daughter and the other little baby, I'm trying to.
My other daughter and the other little baby. Who talks about their children like that? My little daughter and the other little baby. Meaning that man not close to not only his kids, but his kids' siblings. The other little baby? Okay.
See, it was just them two and not them two. Like, what was the difference? Where was they sleeping at?
So I know there's 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old. So you have 9-year-old and 2-year-old with Tatiana?
No, I had 3, the 9, 2, and we got a daughter that's 7.
A 7-year-old. Okay. 7. Okay.
Again, they outside talking in the parking lot. You want to know why? Because he probably can't have company in the house. Because I'm telling y'all, it is cold. No one is standing outside for longer than it takes for them to clean their car off to walk from point A to point B. No one is standing outside having an interview with someone unless your own living situation is a house you don't pay for. So him and I saying they had a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old who's alive still, and the 2-year-old. He ain't shit.
And I think we covered everything. I just had a list there, and so obviously you've been able to, she called you down to the hospital. Have you been able to talk to Tatiana since?
We talked, but it wasn't like a real talk. It was just brief.
Okay. Since everything. I think you explained what you want people to know, as far as letting the truth be told.
Yeah. Something on the internet. Some people saying the right stuff. Some people just talking like usual. Don't know nothing about nothing. Just want something to say. So yeah, that's what I was doing before y'all called.
Is there any validity to any aspects of what she's saying, do you think, in terms of having reached out for help? And
I mean, she probably did, but I always tell her, when you do stuff, you do it the wrong way, so wouldn't nobody really know nothing.
So okay, if you saying that she don't ask for stuff the right way, if you know that, wouldn't you be asking her stuff to find out what's going on? If you know she don't communicate well, and if she asks you to get your kids, wouldn't you ask her more details? Or because you knew she didn't, give more, did you feel like, you know what, I'm not going to ask for because I don't care? Anytime someone say, well, I mean, she probably asked for help, but she don't ask for help the right way. She do things the wrong way. Then why did you never ask more information? Because she has your 3 children. Because you didn't care. And whatever she got going on, whatever peril your kid was in, it ain't on you. Because I don't know nothing. I don't ask no questions. I don't know nothing.
You have to talk, like speak, tell them what you want. Same way you say about to get a job. Talk to them the same way how you would talk. You need help. It's not hard.
And this is the piece of shit father who thought this interview made him look better. I don't know why he thinks this. I don't know who told him coming on here and blaming the mom. I don't know who, told you, yeah, that's the thing to say. I don't know who advised you on what to say. What I do know is you are enemy number 1, in my opinion, because it's like, sir, what is your problem? To me, the mama tried her best. To me, she was in a very hard part of life. No one is prepared to be homeless. No one wants to be, especially in the winter of Michigan. I don't like being outside, and I have a house to stay in. To me, that lady, Tatiana, did the best she could do under the circumstances. The dad is a piece of shit. Bottom line. Because he didn't even show any emotion towards losing his 2 children. Now, what I do know, there's apparently 2 GoFundMes. Now, I know this one was allegedly started by the mom's cousin. And this one they have already raised $51,000. The donations have been disabled, so you can't donate anymore. But this was the cousin who, and this was started before the funeral home here agreed to cover the funeral cost. So I do also know when I watched the news said that the GoFundMe people said they're going to make sure this GoFundMe goes to the mom. They want to be sure that any proceeds from this GoFundMe started by her cousin would go to the mom. And you see right here, GoFundMe giving guarantee. We guarantee you a full refund in case if something isn't right. Okay, meaning if something with this ain't going the right way, you will get a refund. And I know I read this that they were going to make sure that these proceeds went to the mom because again, we have to remember the mom still has 2 surviving children that are 4 and 7. The mom is going to need absolute counseling and therapy to deal with seeing her 2 kids deceased. You know what I'm saying? So there's more that have to go into things. Okay, that's one thing. So again, for me, I feel like I am happy that the cousin started a GoFundMe. The mom is going to need this money for one to not only secure housing, but counseling and all this stuff. If I tell y'all know, I've been asking for 40 grand for a while. $50,000 in a lump sum, if it's tax free, can really help you get everything together. You hear me? Now that's one thing. Okay. I also heard the daddy had one put up. And I said, "Babe, what?" Now, when I kept Googling, because when I heard it earlier, that he had started a GoFundMe. When I kept trying to Google it, hold on. Pull this one up. This is allegedly the daddy's GoFundMe. Now, I'm going to say allegedly because it is his name. Okay, Darnell Curry, that's the man's name. It is saying, help us with these 2 precious children. Now, those are old photographs of the son and the daughter, because again, the son was 9, the daughter was 2. So these are not new photos. A part of me feel like this was a fake one, because I feel like why wouldn't he use recent pictures? But child may be the only ones he have. And again, this one had only raised $385. And there were other, again, old pictures of the kids. There was nothing roughly new. There were only old photographs. So a part of me felt like either the daddy is a POS and only had, he is a POS. The daddy only had old photographs and thought, hey, if the mama can get $50,000, you know what I'm saying? If she can get that, well, I can get some money too. You know what I'm saying? And maybe he did, start the GoFundMe to try to get some money. But bitch, for what? It don't live with you. They don't live with you at all. And I know some folk were upset because they thought, oh, why y'all could GoFundMe if the funeral home was covering the fee for the funeral? And the GoFundMe was set up before the funeral home had offered to pay for it in full. So again, the one the daddy has is disabled. Okay, this fundraiser is no longer accepting donations. If you are the organizer, beneficiary, team member, or donor, sign in to see additional information, meaning GoFundMe shut this down. So a part of me feel like this might not have been the daddy, but it could have. Okay, because the cousin started, it said the organizer has currently disabled new donations. You know what I'm saying? And the news and all the people's, okay, was saying this came from the mom's family. You know, so the daddy don't need no money, not a dollar. Truthfully, he don't need to come to the funeral. Okay, you're uninvited. You're uninvited. We don't need you here. We don't want you here at all. And I really hope they open the GoFundMe back up for the mom, because she gonna need counseling and therapy and prayer and love and support and people pouring into her for a long time. So technically, in my opinion, she gonna need more than this to even be able to function. And because this is such a public situation, I feel like she we know her face now. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like a part of that is also she won't be able to even be out in the world and not be recognized for this for a while. She gonna need to be at home, chilling, trying to function. And I know people lose people every day, and we can't give everybody 100 grand when someone died. I fully get that, but I do think in certain situations, you know, people need some help. That lady was already homeless, so I do feel like she gonna need a bit more, just help in life, a bit more love, a bit more affection, a bit more help, just to function properly. And the daddy, he needs security, because if I see him donkey kick, he don't need nothing. He don't need nothing. Period. The moment that man said, well, she asked me to get him, but she ain't say why. Him trying to say, well, why didn't she ask my family for help? When he blaming her, saying I had hotel rooms, but she had. Even the body language of them two in their separate interviews, you can tell she is a distraught, broken mother who don't know how she's going to be able to continue on in life because of what she went through. You know what I'm saying? He around here wants to be looked at as a victim. He wants to clear his name, not because of any miscommunication or misinformation. No, he does not want to be held liable for being a deadbeat daddy. And the moment he's out of his own, because she never really dogged him out. She said one statement: I did ask for help, and he said he had to work. The fact that he came on here and said exactly that, but still tried to place the blame on her pride, her ego. Never once saying, you know what, I could have helped her more. I wish when she called, if he would have at least said, I wish when she called me and asked me to get them, I would have got my kids. Had I got my kids and had them with me in Novi, they would not be there. He did not even say that. Him saying, well, she'd rather be homeless in of it. No one wants to be homeless on the streets of Detroit, Michigan in the dead of winter. People don't want to go outside their houses in winter here. If we can stay home, bitch, we stay home. Because it's cold. It's cold and it's snowy. So for you to fix your mouth and say her ego and her pride is so big that she didn't want to ask her. So she didn't want to ask for help, but she called a homeless shelter. And we do that from the damn the mayor and the police chief. You want us to believe she didn't want to ask people around for help. But the police chief said it was record of her calling and telling the people back in November that where she was staying, she would have to leave. So saying her ego, her pride did not allow her to ask for help is a lie from the pits of dead baby daddy hell. So if you run into Darnell Curry Sr., please trip him down the stairs. Please trip him down the stairs. Because how dare you make it seem as if you played no part in this? You didn't help her. That's why she was homeless. You didn't help her with y'all 3 children. You can't remember when you found out they were dead? So yes, it's extremely unfortunate that she is a 29-year-old single mother of 4. Again, y'all, it was her 4 children, her mama, her sibling, and another, I think, 17-year-old, all living in a minivan in the winter of Detroit, Michigan. No one wants to do that. No one. No one. And why would she pay for hotels if you told her you had free hotels? That's stupid. That's dumb. So all the folks who gave this lady hell the first 2 days that this story came out, I hope y'all are eating your words, because it was literally a tragedy. That lady, you can't nobody tell me that lady felt like, well, I'll just be homeless. And oops, my kids died. No. No one wants to bury their children. No one wants to be homeless. There's no homeless person except the people who live that nomad lifestyle. But those are people who buy cars, trucks, vans to be unhoused. There are people who live in their cars because they want to save money. But it's usually just them and their car. I've seen it on YouTube. I'm saying, well, folk will sell their house and then live in a car or truck, so that we've seen before. Okay. But it ain't no person who say, you know what? I want to be homeless in 2024, because it happened in 2024. Okay, end of the year. No one says in 2024, but around November, I want to be homeless in a 2002 minivan. No one. No one. You want to know why? Because that car isn't reliable. Yeah, they call nomads. There are people who literally live in campers and regular cars, and they retrofit their lifestyle to be that. But it's usually just a person, maybe a couple, you know what I'm saying? It is a family, they live like in a trailer or whatever, but ain't no regular person in a 2002 minivan truck or whatever, what kind of car it was, is deciding to live in it in Detroit, Michigan in the winter. The fact the car broke down shows that wasn't no I want to be homeless car. I hate this man right here. He gets on all my nerves. Okay. So again, for Tatiana Williams, we gonna send her some grace, some love, some healing. Okay. She gonna need it. Okay. She gonna the simple fact. Look at her here. Look at his hair. The simple fact that his locks look nice and neat. Okay? You can tell that he's struggling. And it ain't no diss. That ain't no, that's just me pointing out. You can tell she's struggling and was just trying to make it. And he up here looking like he had a good shower. He slept real well. He got some lotion on. He's warm. Ain't no bag under his eyes. He don't, and she looked dehydrated because she'd been crying for 3 fucking days. So even, that's why I said a lot of folk kept on cutting up her interview. No, we're going to watch them both in full because pay attention. Pay attention. The fact that she told y'all I had to put my kids in an E-course school because I didn't trust Detroit Public. And he like, I'm up in the difference. I get my weed. I live too far. And she up here, you can tell she was struggling. And also the cops, no one has said since the kids were, because again, so the 2 kids that passed away, her other 2 kids, no one has said, hey, we taken our kids because they were malnourished. They were dirty. No. My kids had everything except a home. They have not once came out and said that there was any kind of neglect physically to them kids. Just they lived in a car. That's it. And he up here, piece of shit, has no emotion about what happened. None. Even him not saying, I want to get my daughter from her because I don't trust her. You ain't mentioned they have one more child together. They have a 7-year-old alive together. You want us to believe that you think she is not a good thing, whatever, but you ain't mentioned not once. I want people to know I wish I got my kids and I'm gonna get my daughter from her because I don't want, ain't mentioning it. You know why? Because he don't care. When she mentioned him, she didn't dog him out. All she said was, I asked him for help. And he said he had to work. And he put forth on his interview to make her out to be a deadbeat mama, to be too prideful, to make it seem as if her decisions directly killed the children because she put herself and her pride over her kids. So the mama did the best she could. Now her best wasn't good enough because we see what happened. But that's the definition of a tragic accident. If you at home and you put your kids to bed and you don't know your child is choking in the other room, it's a tragic accident. If you at home and your child playing with matches and they bed burn up and they die, a tragic accident. If you homeless and all you want is to keep your kids together because every place you went to get help doesn't have space for you and your children, you don't want to separate you from them, and you ask the daddy, hey, if you can get your 3 kids for a couple days, please. Because think about this, if he would have got his 3 kids, her and the other child could have been had some, could have been at his shelter because it's just her and one of the kids. But he didn't want to help with his 3. So it's her and 4 kids. It's 5 people. You hear me? So even her saying it was really cold that night, and I usually hold my daughter because she's 2, and she loved me because it was so cold. I put her with the other kids to get warm because body heat. Even her saying, "I'm cold. I could have kept my baby with me, but no, the other kids is more warm back there. So I put her with them." And not only that, let's not forget, only 2 of the kids died, which means the other kids who did not die from hypothermia is proof it wasn't that cold in the car. Because if it was so cold, it would have killed everyone. That's how you know it was a tragic accident, because it did not kill the 4 and 7 year old. I mean, the 4 and 7 year old, or the 13-year-old, or her because she's very thin, or her mama. So the fact that there were, 7, 8 people in the van, and 2 of them, died of hypothermia, is the definition of a tragic accident. I even seen folks saying, "Well, was it carbon monoxide poisoning?" Maybe I said no, because that would have killed everybody. Even him saying, "I just wonder why those 2." And it's called a tragic accident. The fact that she thought to park in a parking garage, thinking it'd be warmer because it's still enclosed. It's still a parking garage. I'm saying the fact that she thought it's a bit warmer here than the street. I want to be somewhere safer where we feel more secure. There's cameras. So logical thinking is like, that lady ain't think that would kill her kids, because it would kill her too. She in the car too. She didn't leave them in the car by themselves. They were all in the car. Her mama, because I saw one part of her mama talking. The mama said, the mama said, "We fell asleep. We fell asleep. We fell asleep." She said, "Usually I'm up, but I was tired, and we fell asleep." And the following morning, so we will see what else happens with this case. I don't think the mom should be charged at all, because I don't feel like she was you know what I'm saying? To me, you can't really. It was a tragic accident, but we gonna still blame this daddy and the city, because the city needs to make stuff more available and aware to people. And the daddy could have easily gotten his 3 kids. Yes, the cold will absolutely make you sleepy, because your body shuts down. And the cold weather started. The cold weather. Y'all, I still have my window open just until recently, but at night it's now much colder. And if that lady ain't used to being home, and if you've never been homeless in February in Detroit, you don't know how cold it really gets at night. I don't know, because I ain't outside. I'm in the house. So she had no idea that would happen. Why? Because she wasn't used to being homeless in the wintertime. Period. And then even how she did. If you wake up in the morning and you think your kids is still just sleeping, even them send her because the car didn't start, they then call someone to look at the car. You think the kids are asleep. Why? Because they tired too. Anyway, y'all, I told y'all this would be a whole long, hard conversation. Okay, but it had to be done. Okay, I'm trying my best to discuss, real life stuff that we have to get into. And because I'm here in the city, I'm like, why not do stuff that's here? Okay, but again, this is a tragedy. The dad is a piece of shit, and I feel so horrible for the mom, because she is really going to feel this, because again, the daddy wasn't around like that, so he don't know what it's like to not having kids with him every day. The mama do. She has to live with not seeing her kids again when she was used to seeing them every day. He wasn't. He don't even carry the same hurt and grief she gonna carry. Cause please believe, even though she don't blame herself, she still blames herself. But I hope y'all enjoy this real, this real conversation that had to be had. I again will be live tomorrow for my Love and Marriage Huntsville review. Right now it's set for 4 o'clock. I might push it till 5 because I have not watched the episode yet and I'm tired right now. But we'll get into it. Okay, y'all know we were also live earlier for our Saturday evening gospel chat, so go watch that as well. Is any other content up on the channel? Okay, y'all be sure to like this video, share it as well. Now I don't know what's gonna be the next child. I don't know what's gonna be the next. Look, I really want to get more into just this stuff where it ain't about having conversations about stuff that matter, that some folk want to shy away from, and just having an honest conversation, good, bad, or indifferent. And as hard as today is for me, I was like, oh, maybe I should not do it because I'll start crying because it's my daddy child. But I was like, no, somebody needs to know, hey, if you homeless, child, Google and figure things out and stuff, okay? But again, I'm happy to have these we won't have all the time, child, like once, okay? Once or twice, child. And I try to put a little bit of comedy in it to make a little giggle, child, but I don't want to go too far. But again, y'all, stay safe. Again, it is cold here in Detroit now. It is what time? Child, the degrees. Wait, hold on. Does anybody know how cold it was? It was below 30 degrees. It was below freezing. It was below freezing. It was for sure below freezing. Because it is right now. Right now, it is 31 degrees. 31 degrees. We got a few inches of snow today. It is cold as fuck outside. It's cold as fuck outside right now. So yes. So I hope y'all enjoyed how I pieced it all together. You can rewatch if you want to. I know it's long, but again, we have to have these long conversations to get full pictures. And even though this is a very sad situation, I still feel like we can't ignore it, because then the kid died in vain, and the baby daddy who ain't shit, we got to cuss him out. Sometimes we got to cuss nigga out to get it through. Okay. But thank y'all for being here. I appreciate all. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the stuff. Okay. Y'all, I love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. And stuff. So again, I will talk to y'all tomorrow. And yeah. And if there's other stories that I'm not aware of, y'all to DM me and I can deep dive into it. Okay. But I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Do not forget to please like the video. And I'm gonna end it, y'all, on some good old Detroit. Like the video, because we from Detroit, born and raised around here. So like the video. And until later on, I gotta go. Bye.